Be me. 27, average-looking guy, nothing remarkable. Work a normal office job at a mid-size consulting firm. Pay my own rent, cook my own food, do my own laundry. Not impressive, not a disaster, just a regular person trying to stay employed. The office is maybe 60 people total. Mix of ages, mix of backgrounds, decent place honestly. Free coffee, flexible hours, nobody screams at you. Which puts it in the top 10% of workplaces have heard about. There is this coworker named Priya. She is maybe 32, sharp, very organized, runs the internal social committee. The kind of person who actually reads the company newsletter. Not in a fake way either, she genuinely cares. Priya and I are not close, but we are friendly. She knows my coffee order. I remember her birthday once when nobody else did. She seemed genuinely touched by that, so I like her, or at least I respect her. She is good at her job, and she means well. This matters for later. One Thursday, Priya sends an office-wide email. Subject: Lunch panel, men and women in the modern workplace. It is happening the following Tuesday, attendance listed as voluntary. The boss follows up with his own email an hour later. Says I encourage everyone to find time to join. Which in office language means you are going. I clear my calendar. Tuesday arrives, the conference room is set up with a little buffet. Pasta salad, some kind of wrap situation, fruit. Maybe 40 people show up. I grab food and sit in the back row. The panel has 4 people, 3 women from different departments. And one guy named Theo from accounting. Theo sits very straight and smiles too much. He has the energy of someone who has already agreed with everything. The first speaker is from HR. She talks about hiring disparities, presents some actual data. I follow along, the numbers are real, companies do hire fewer women into senior roles. I already knew this, but hearing the specifics is useful. Second speaker is from the marketing team. She talks about emotional labor. How women manage the social temperature of offices. Schedule birthdays, remember personal details, smooth over conflicts, all unpaid, all invisible, all expected. I nod slightly at this. I have watched this happen. There is a woman in my department named Grace. She basically maintains the entire team's emotional ecosystem. She gets no credit for it. Third speaker is Priya herself. She talks about conversational dynamics. How men in meetings take up more airtime on average, interrupt more, get interrupted less. How ideas from women get credited to men who repeat them louder. She also says something that makes me pause. She says most men do not even realize they are doing it. It is just the water they swim in. I sit with that for a second. It is probably true for a lot of guys. Then the Q&A starts. A guy near the front raises his hand. His name is Callum, from the finance team. He asks a genuine question about paternity leave, whether the company plans to expand it. Since equal leave might help normalize men as caregivers, Priya cuts in before he finishes. Let's hold structural policy questions for the HR session next month. Callum blinks. I was just asking because it connects to the equity point you. Thanks, Callum. We will get to that. He sits back. Theo nods along from the panel table, like Callum had said something rude. I look at my pasta. It is actually pretty good pasta. The kind with the little twists that hold sauce well. I focus on that. The panel ends. People mingle. I refill my plate and leave. I do not think much about it that week. Work is busy. A client project is going sideways. I spend most of the week on the phone trying to fix it, eventually fix it. Nobody really notices, but the client stops being angry, so that counts. 2 weeks later, Priya sends another email. This one is different. She has been working on a meeting equity initiative. The office will begin tracking speaking time in team meetings. A shared spreadsheet, voluntary self-reporting. The goal is awareness, to help teams notice patterns and self-correct. I read this 3 times, not because I am angry, just because I want to understand what it actually means. It means someone will be tracking who talks in meetings and comparing it to gender. I do not say anything, I just file it mentally under things to watch. First meeting with the new system, weekly team sync, 8 people, 30 minutes. Someone has a little counter app open on their laptop. They mark down each time someone speaks and for how long. I notice it immediately. Other people notice it too. There is a brief weird energy at the start. Like everyone is suddenly aware of their own breathing. The meeting goes fine. I speak twice. Once to give a project update, once to answer a direct question. Both times I keep it short. Afterward, the tracking person posts a summary in the team channel. Speaking time breakdown by gender. Men had spoken for 63% of the meeting time. Women 37%, with a note that the team should reflect on this. I look at the percentages. There are 6 men and 2 women on the team. So the men speaking 63%, when they are 75% of the group. Seems like they are actually slightly under their population share. I notice this, but I do not say it. Because I do not want to be that guy who responds to equity efforts with math. Weeks pass, the spreadsheet becomes normal. People adjust, some guys start talking less. Some women start talking more, some meetings get better, more balanced. Some get worse because people are not performing instead of just working. My particular adjustment is basically nothing. I was already pretty quiet in meetings. I speak when I have something to say. I was already doing that. One day I get a message from Priya. Hey, just wanted to say the data shows you're being really mindful of space. It's noticed and appreciated. I stare at this message for a minute. I was not being mindful of space. I just did not have anything extra to add. I am being credited with a virtue I did not perform. I write back thanks. She sends a small star emoji. A month later, big client presentation meeting. The whole team plus 2 managers plus the client on video. We are working through a complicated data problem. The client is frustrated. The timeline has slipped. Halfway through the meeting they hit a wall. A specific formula in a model is giving wrong outputs. Nobody can figure out why. The room goes quiet in that way where everyone is avoiding eye contact. I know what the problem is. I spotted it the night before while reviewing files. It is a nested reference error, very fixable, takes about 2 minutes. I look at the spreadsheet on the screen. I look around the room. I raise my hand slightly. My manager nods at me. I explain the issue. Walk through the fix. It takes maybe 5 minutes. The client relaxes visibly. My manager says great catch. The meeting finished cleanly. I feel good about it briefly. 2 days later my manager pulls me aside. Good work in that meeting. The client specifically mentioned it. Also, Priya flagged that you were pretty vocal. Just something to be aware of going forward. I look at him. I spoke for 5 minutes in a 50-minute meeting. He shrugs a little. I know. She just tracks these things and brings them up. Not a formal complaint, just a flag. He seems a little embarrassed about having to say it. Like he knows how it sounds. He was just passing it on. I nod and go back to my desk. I sit there for a long time. I am not furious. I am not going to quit. I am not going to write a manifesto. I am just very tired. In a specific way that is hard to describe, like when you try to do something right and it still goes sideways. Here is what keeps circling in my head. I genuinely think some of what Priya is doing matters. The emotional labor stuff is real. The interruption patterns are real. Women getting their ideas taken is real. I have seen it happen. But I also just got flagged for fixing a client problem. In the one meeting where I actually spoke up. After weeks of sitting quietly. And Derek. I should mention Derek. Derek is a senior analyst. He talks in every meeting. Loudly. Often. Sometimes over other people. He is genuinely one of the guys the initiative should address. Confident to the point of being a little much. Derek has never once shortened a sentence for the spreadsheet. He speaks exactly as much as he always did. He does not seem to have read the initiative email. Derek got promoted last quarter. Corner office, salary bump, new title. The announcement email used words like dynamic and decisive. I sat at my regular desk, being mindful of space. So the thing that stays with me, the thing I cannot quite shake, is that the system caught me. And let Derek walk right through it. Not because the system is evil, but because the system only works on people who are already paying attention. People who are trying to be considerate. Those people read the email and adjust. Derek does not read those emails. Derek skims them and goes back to being Derek. So what you end up with is the considerate people getting policed. And the actual problem people continuing unchanged. While getting promoted because they project confidence, I think about this a lot on my commute. I do not bring it up at work. I have a mortgage to think about. Not actually a mortgage yet, just a theoretical future mortgage, but still. Things at the office continue. The spreadsheet is now in its 3rd month. It has become background noise. People do not think about it as much. Some weeks it gets posted, some weeks it gets forgotten. Grace from my team still runs the emotional ecosystem. Remembers everyone's allergies for the holiday party planning. Coordinates the sympathy car when someone's parent dies. Fields the passive-aggressive emails so they do not become real conflicts. The spreadsheet does not have a column for any of that. I think about Priya's panel sometimes, the part about invisible labor. How it is real and it is untracked and it matters. Grace's invisible labor is also untracked. And Priya's initiative did not touch it. A lot of things are like that. You solve one narrow visible thing, and the wider invisible thing keeps going. I start looking at other jobs around month 4. Not urgently, just opening my eyes to what else is out there, partly because of everything I described, partly because I was already thinking about it before any of this. The initiative is not the only reason, it is more like it made concrete something I was already feeling. To feeling that this particular office rewards the people who are loud enough to be noticed. Regardless of what the spreadsheet says, and I am not that kind of loud. I applied to a couple of places. One is a smaller company, maybe 20 people. The other is a bigger firm but a different team culture. I get an offer from the smaller one after 3 interviews. I take it. I give my 2 weeks notice on a Wednesday. Priya sends me a message within an hour. Heard the news. Sad to see you go. You've been one of the more thoughtful colleagues here. I appreciate this. I also note she did not say effective or valuable or skilled. She said thoughtful, which is kind, but it is still the spreadsheet talking. My last week is fine. People say nice things. There is a small Friday thing with cake. The cake is dry but I eat to pieces because I am an adult. Priya gives a little speech. She says, was one of the more quietly supportive men in the office. That I modeled good listening and awareness. People clap. I smile. I think about those for minutes in the client meeting, the ones that saved the project. Nobody mentions those. I drive home, windows down. Think about quietly supportive. It is not a bad thing to be. Quiet and supportive are both fine qualities. I would just like to also be remembered for the work. Maybe that is too much to ask. Maybe that is exactly the point Priya was trying to make all along. Just from the other direction, new job starts on a Monday. Small office, everyone knows everyone. There is no social committee, there is no spreadsheet. There is a whiteboard with project milestones and a bowl of mixed nuts. First meeting I attend, maybe 7 people around a table. I wait, I listen, I speak when I have something, nobody tracks it, nobody comments on it. The meeting just happens, it feels strange. Like that first week after you stop taking a medication. When you realize how much it was changing your baseline. I make friends slowly. There is a guy named Marcus. Quiet, thorough, makes a good cup of coffee. We eat lunch together most days. We talk about basketball and terrible action movies. Neither of us brings up feminism or office dynamics. It is the most relaxed I have felt at work in 2 years. 3 months in a new person joins the team. Her name is Dana. She is maybe 25, clearly smart. A little nervous, which is normal. She asks good questions in the first week. In her 3rd week we have a project review. Dana starts making a point about client communication timing. She is halfway through the sentence. A guy named Brad interrupts her. Not maliciously, he just does it. Some people are just like that. They hear a partial idea and jump on it. He finishes what he thinks her point was. Which is roughly right but missing the actual insight she was building toward. The meeting moves on. Dana does not say anything. She has that micro-expression people get. Where they decide it is not worth it. I wait for a natural pause. It comes about 2 minutes later. I say actually I think Dana was building to something else there. Dana, you want to finish that? She does. The full point lands. It is a good point. The project lead says yeah, that is actually the cleaner approach. Meeting ends. Dana finds me by the coffee machine. Thanks for that. I say Brad does that to everyone. Do not take it personally. She laughs a little. Does it get better? I think about Priya. I think about Derek. I think about the spreadsheet and the dry cake. Sometimes, I say, the trick is finding rooms where the loud people are also the right people. She thinks about this. What if they are not? Then you find different rooms. She nods like that is useful. Maybe it is. Maybe it is not. It is just what I have. I think about Priya's panel sometimes still. I think she was pointing at something real. The interruptions, the invisible labor, the credit stealing. All of that is real. I also think the spreadsheet was pointing at the wrong thing. Or rather pointing at only one part of the thing. The visible, trackable part, while the rest just kept going underneath. Derek is still in his corner office. I think about that sometimes. What would actually reach Derek? What system, what incentive, what consequence would make Derek listen for once? I do not have an answer. I am not sure anyone does. I think some people are just going to keep being Derek. Until the cost of being Derek actually outweighs the reward. Right now it does not. Right now the reward for being Derek is a corner office. And the reward for being mindful of space is a speech about being quietly supportive. I do not think Priya wanted that outcome. I think she was genuinely trying to fix something. I think she just could not reach the part that most needed fixing. And in the meantime, I sat in meetings saying nothing. Being credited with thoughtfulness did not intend. For silence that was mostly just exhaustion, that is the honest version. I work at the small company now, I talk in meetings and I have something to say. So does everyone else, sometimes more, sometimes less. Nobody is tracking it. Dana is getting more confident. She cuts Brad off occasionally now, which is funny to watch. Brad does not even notice. He just pivots and keeps going, which is its own kind of solution honestly. Marcus and I found a terrible action movie franchise. We are 3 films deep, they keep getting worse in exactly the right way. We have opinions about the physics. The coffee here is decent. The nuts are mostly cashews, which is fine. I am still trying to figure out where the line is. Between making space for others and disappearing into it. Between being considerate and being invisible. I do not think it is a fixed line. I think it moves depending on the room, depending on who else is there. And whether anyone like me bothers to notice Dana in the first place. Maybe that is the only real answer. Not a spreadsheet, not a panel, not a policy. Just paying attention to the right thing at the right moment, without making it about yourself. Or maybe Priya would say that is naive, that individual attention does not scale, that you need systems or nothing changes. Maybe she is right. I do not know. I just have a job I like. And a coworker whose ideas get to land now. And cashews, be me. Still just a guy. Still working on it. No clean ending. Just the question sitting there. Same as always. At least the coffee is decent.